guys, welcome back to my channel. This is actually going to be probably the most messiest background and like unplanned video ever, and I'm kind of just doing this on a whim. I'm waiting for my homework to download right now because long story short, I started a new job, and so I'm adjusting to that, and I'm trying to transition with my lab schedules and everything and still do my duties as a mom, and yeah, just everything going on. Also, I'm on that squeaky chair again, so you're probably gonna hear in the background. I just have to clarify that just in case if you're new, because I don't want you to think I am some giant farter or something, but it's just my chair. And I'm even still in my scrubs from work and everything. I started a new job, and so I've been adjusting to that and my new schedule, and I also am probably going to be packing up and moving soon, so that's like a whole new thing. So yeah, don't mind the giant mess and like how unplanned, and this is just like completely out of a whim. I'm just waiting on my stuff to download. I haven't been able to film a video really, and I have not even really been reading that much. I'm actually reading one book right now, which I am going to dedicate a video to it by itself because it's a really big book and it's going to be a book review, but I'll go over that like later. So today I'm just going to talk about my recent reads, and I haven't been doing monthly wrap-ups because I haven't been able to read as much as I've been wanting to, but I have found some really good books I've been reading and some books that I just want to update you guys on what I've currently been reading and share them with you guys. So while my homework is downloading, let's just jump into the video and talk about the recent reads I've had. Again, don't mind that I look like crap, and don't mind that I'm still in my scrubs, don't mind that the background's messy and that my chair is squeaking a lot. So yeah, but regardless of not, I'm also gonna look at my Goodreads because that's exactly like where everything is, and I'm just gonna be talking about the recent books I've read. I have a couple here, and yeah, there's been quite a different selection. So let's get started with this video. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about some of the books I read actually in June, because that's kind of when I didn't really do as much of my updates. So one of the books two of the books I read, Spy Family Volume 3 and 4, and I'm loving Spy Family so much. I literally am obsessed with Yor. She's such a badass, and she's just such a cool mom. This whole series so far, I'm loving it. The fourth one I love especially because they get a pet, and it's so cute and so cool. And the third one I really liked a lot because there was like a tiny bit of like, I don't know if it's really romance, but it kind of was romance for me, and I thought it was so cute and like little butterfly moments. So I really like that. I would definitely recommend Spy Family if you haven't read that. Also, I'm not gonna go super in depth. I just want to like do a brief rundown. So yeah, I read that, and then I did a whole reading vlog on these two. But I read Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, and I have to say that this book, I did a whole reading vlog, but if you haven't watched it, I'm just gonna briefly talk about it. This book has so many trigger warnings, but with such heavy topic, this book was handled beautifully. It was beautifully written. I felt like everything was displayed in such a really like sympathetic and empathetic way. It was like the author really knew how to really capture those emotions and portray it properly to where it never felt forced. It felt comforting, actually. Even reading a book with all these trigger warnings, it felt really comforting. I just felt like it was such a good book. The characters were amazing. I loved the characters, like how they developed through the story, and their conflicts that they actually had in the story were valid conflicts, and it made sense as to why they were feeling the way they were. And I love the friendship of the main character. Well, there's two main characters, but I love the main friendship of Yasmin and her friends. I just love like their characters together. Like I genuinely cared about the side characters too, and I wanted to know what happened to them. Like it wasn't like those stories where the side characters were kind of just there to fill up space. They genuinely were interesting to me, and I wanted to know more about their story. And I actually had so much fun reading this book. It was really good. I even recommended it to one of my friends, and so if you're looking into reading Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, I definitely would recommend it because it was super good. I thought it was so cute, and there was like a lot of parts where I felt like were laugh out loud moments, and there were actually like funny parts. Also, I loved a lot of the relatable references in the story. I feel like she made it to where it didn't seem like she was trying too hard to make things relatable. So she referenced a lot of things that you can probably relate to today, and I found this book to be written so naturally. Like it felt like a friend, one of your closest friends, just like telling you everything and talking to you. And that's exactly how it felt. It felt like I was just reading something from a friend, and I didn't feel forced. It was just a perfect read. I even read this at night, so I would definitely recommend it if you have not read it, and to give it a try because it was super good. And then I read The Wicked King, and it's from the Folk of the Air series, and I have to say I originally gave it like 4. I put 4 on Goodreads because I couldn't do 4.5, but I gave it like 4.5 stars. And I originally thought I liked The Wicked King less than okay, let me reword that. I thought I liked The Cruel Prince better than The Wicked King, but to be honest, the more I thought about it after I finished reading The Wicked King, I think I like The Wicked King so much more because there's so much more romance in this one. I'm not gonna say anything because it's gonna spoil it for everybody, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there is a lot more romance in this one. I still loved the world building. Like, I loved the folklore that's in this book, and like all their little, like, just like the little world that she created. I just love everything about it. Like, I kind of went into it in the reading vlog when she was talking about it, but I just love how she talks about like the moral codes of the fairies, and like their foods, and like the food descriptions, and just like everything involving this world, and what's like morally right and what's morally wrong, and what they did to each other. And yeah, I really liked this book. I did notice though, I would kind of like skim past the political parts, like when it talked about the political tactical parts, because that's just me. I'm not really into like political tactical parts, but I still really enjoyed this book, and it was never where I felt bored. I was never bored. So even with those like tactical parts, I still had so much fun with it. I wasn't bored, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And for sure there was like a bunch of twists in this to where even the ending like caught me off guard. I did not expect that. I was like, what the heck? So I have to read the next one, and I'm super excited because a lot of people really like the last one, which is The Queen of Nothing. So I'm excited to read that. And yeah, I really like this book. So if you haven't read this series, it's become one of my favorites. Like, I have to get this. I have some money on my gift card, so I think I'm going to use that last little bit. I've been saving it for like a really good purchase, and I think I'm going to use that for this series because I really I love it so much. So the next book I also did read is Seance Tea Party. This is such a cute graphic novel. So it does kind of go over and handle grief, but it does it in such a nostalgic way, and a way where you feel really like you have a lot of empathy for the characters. And the the illustrations in this were so cute. It was so whimsical and so quirky, and I loved like the little characters. Like, there's like these little creatures in there, and they're so cute. I don't want to go into that because it's a graphic novel, so I can't really elaborate that much onto it. But regardless or not, I think this book was beautifully illustrated, and how she orchestrated like the characters and their dialogue and what it was handling, I just felt like it was handled so poetically in such a like a little whimsical, like quirky way. So she did that perfectly, and I really enjoyed this. Now, the book that I wasn't crazy about, I have to say it's like one on my list, and it is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I was not crazy about this book, so it was really cool to get some bonus content. So this book wasn't my favorite, I'm gonna be honest. I just feel like I'm gonna go 100% like dive into it. It was great to see bonus content and to see more of the characters, but to be honest, I don't even think I was really crazy about It Ends With Us. And so this one, I kind of just read it. I don't know, I thought maybe I'd like it more because she's like mom. Maybe I could like, it's cool seeing other perspectives of motherhood journeys, which I do like reading. I just find it so interesting. But overall, I feel like the story didn't really have that much of a dynamic to really keep me like completely hooked, because I kept thinking something was gonna happen, and I just feel like nothing happened. Like, it was almost like this book was just not needed. Like, I don't even feel like there was that much of a major conflict. And some of the choices that the main protagonist, like, she made, I'm just like, girl, why? It's like you want to get in trouble. It's like you want to make things work. And honestly, that's how I felt a lot when I was reading it. So I don't think I was crazy about it. I think I'd probably like rate this like maybe like a 3-star read. I did like seeing the characters again, and I didn't like completely hate it, but literally I just don't feel like it was needed. Like, nothing happened. I don't even remember anything memorable about the book. It was cool seeing like the characters from the last book, but again, like, nothing happened, so nothing memorable. I thought something crazy and intense was gonna happen, and no, honestly, for me, I just didn't feel like anything like kept me hooked. So I wouldn't really say that this was like my favorite read. Okay, so the next book I'm going to talk about is actually my first classic that I read on my own, other than having to read for school. I don't remember any classics I had to read for school, But I decided to read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and this is actually an illustrated one, so there's like some illustrations in here. Yeah, it's just, I don't know if you can really see it. It might be like really wide casted, but this was super cheap at Barnes & Noble, and I wanted a copy of it for a long time, and it was like super cheap. I think it was like $5 or $10, and I had a gift card, so I figured why not get it. And I got it a while ago actually. I read it and I was really shocked. So I do have to, I'm not going to go in depth about it because it's a classic novel, and I'm not going to rate it because it's a classic novel, but I actually really enjoyed it, and it kind of just stayed in my head for quite a while, and I wanted to read it before I watched the movie because I've never watched the movie and I really want to watch it. I don't know what came over me, but I felt like I had to read a classic, and I am really happy and proud of myself that I did. I didn't think I would. A lot of this I did do as an audiobook because I was really busy at the time. This was like kind of when I was like trying to look for a job and transitioning to my new labs, so it was just really crazy and hectic, and so the audiobook really saved me, which I kind of liked. It kind of made it more immersive, but I don't know, I love the main protagonist. What's her name again? Like, yeah, duh, Elizabeth. I love Elizabeth. Like, she's kind of a queen, you know? I don't know. I feel like I want to kind of do more of an understanding about this because there were some parts of it, it's like a classic, so it's like a really heavy read, at least for me, because I don't really read classics. So, but for a classic, I was surprised that I was able to grasp it like that much. So I think this was a perfect first dive into classics, and I just love the theme of the book. I loved the characters in the book. I loved hearing like their interactions and their little like sassy moments, and just the woman perspective, and I just found it really intriguing and interesting, like how things were before. And not saying I'd want it to go back to that time, but it was just interesting to see like their mindset and just jump into like a time, like it was like a time jump. So I had fun with it. I really enjoyed it. I really want to watch the movie, and I'm going to watch the movie. So yeah, and this book is just like really nice. It feels really nice. Pretty. So I'm happy I finally read my first classic. I'm actually really proud of myself, and yeah, I'm like really, this was fun. So I can't really go into depth about it because it was like a really dense book, but I can genuinely say that I like really loved the main character a lot. I just felt like she was just, I don't know, I loved how she kind of stood her ground a lot, and she actually used her voice a lot, so I really like that. Okay, so the next book is really, really special. It is my very first novel that an author has reached out to me for and asked if I would like a free copy of their book, and just to let them know like how I feel about it, and if I do like it, just to talk about it. And I was really excited to open this because this is my very first book ever received from an author. I'm not paid for this or anything. They just genuinely asked me like, hey, do you want a free copy of the book, and if you like it, just bring it up and talk about it on your channel. And I really enjoyed this book. I had so much fun with it, and it was everything I wanted. So this is like an epic fantasy book, and it's called Linden Falls by Joshua Hershey, and I thought the cover was beautiful. It was just so detailed. And so I'm gonna go over the synopsis and I'm gonna read it for you real quick. And it says, Mabel is a rumored witch whose kingdom belongs to Lavion, the serpent. And if I'm saying these names, I'm so sorry if I'm saying them kind of wrong. I'm just gonna say it like how I read it in my head when I was reading it. But her people are enslaved in darkness, but everything changes when Mabel discovers a book that transports her to a world of angels and demons. There she wields swords of fire and faces Tannen, a spear-infested dragon. Mabel sets off to save her people, unaware that she'll find Ava along the way, the mystic lady that's thrown away in time, and in doing so find herself. Mabel even learns how to break the darkness, but Lavion has different plans. Mabel wants to set her people free, make peace with her past, and start a new life. She wants to be a fighter and protector of the ones she loves. When life becomes a curse, can Mabel end the darkness before destroying herself? This book literally had everything I wanted. So it was an epic fantasy book. There's a lot of philosophical like lines in here that relate to faith, but it wasn't done in a like pushy way. It was done really subtly, where it really dissolved into the story really, really well. And then also the descriptions of these, like the setting and like the plots that took place in this book, it just transported me to like a whole new world. And the things that the author thought of, I just was like, wow, how do people think of these things? Because like I just find it so cool to know that someone can literally sit there and have this like crazy imagination and then put it into a book. When I was reading this, I felt like it was so cool to know that everything I was reading, it was from the author that actually reached out to me and asked if I would like a free copy of their book, and I'm honored. Honestly, I'm so honored because it's just really interesting and really cool to see like all the descriptions of the characters and the plot of like where it took place. There's like a magic system in here. There's angels and demons, and then I'm gonna try to like show you the book so that you can. Oh my gosh, the chair is so loud. But I'm gonna show you the book just so you can see it, and it's literally so nice. And it won an award. It won the Brew Book Excellence Award. And I don't know, I just had so much fun with this book. So there's a lot of parts that I actually really enjoyed, and one of my favorite parts was actually kind of in the beginning when they were talking about, it's like this book was just so descriptive. So when it came to like the setting and discussing and bringing about the world, one of my favorite parts was when they discussed like these this part where these constellations, and like they kind of came to life, and there was like Leo and I think Scorpio, and or I don't know if it's supposed to represent that exactly, but that's like kind of what I pictured. And I just found that to be so cool because like those constellations came to life, and I just found that so cool. And there was a lot of parts in this book where when there's like eerie parts, it was described in such an eerie way, but it was like a sci-fi and fantasy based book with philosophical points, and I just feel like it had everything. When I was reading my devotionals in the morning, it's so crazy because I actually was wondering if there was like a novel that I could read that kind of, you know, like dabbled in with a little bit of faith but also had like a novel setting, so where I can also read like the best of both worlds, like my devotionals but then also read a novel, because I do love novels. I love just reading new worlds, but I like learning new things from novels. And even if it's just not completely faith-based, just knowing that you can learn from like the characters and everything, I don't know, I find reading novels keep me more open-minded. But yeah, I just found that to be so cool how the author was able to input that into the story but do it so subtly, and it was done beautifully. Like there was a magic system in here. The monsters and the creatures in here were described so interesting and like so impactful too, the way that they were to each other. And yeah, there were just so many parts where I just had to know what was gonna happen. Like there was a little bit of a mystery. There is a little bit of romance, which I'm okay with because I do like when there's just like a little bit. I love romance books, but I'm also okay if there's just like a little bit of romance, which it was just enough for me. And also the eerie parts were one of my favorites because the descriptions, the way the author wrote these descriptions was very, very, very interesting, and it was so intricate, and it just was so cool to see like a completely different world. It's like a sci-fi fantasy world. So this book really transported me to a brand new place, and thank you again for the author for sending this out to me. And if you are interested in reading this, I would definitely recommend it because it was a really good read. It was so fun. It transported me to a whole new world, and I love the magic system, the creatures, the monsters, the demons, the angels, the world, the setting. And yeah, I just liked being into like a completely new world that it was just created, and to know that the author reached out, and the author was really, really nice. Yeah, and the fact that the author reached out to me and asked if I wanted a copy of their book, and to just like, they didn't even force me or say like, hey, I'm gonna give you money. They just were like, hey, here's a free book, and if you like it, please talk about it, and if not, then like, they didn't make me. But the fact that they gave me the option, and I actually really enjoyed this book and all like the little philosophical like faith pinpoints in this book, as well as like the creatures, the eeriness of it. There was a lot of emotional tugging parts where I was like, that's so sad, and a lot of parts where it was really deep and connected. So I really, really, really enjoyed this, and I would definitely recommend it if you haven't given it a try. And thank you again for the author for this honorable book, and thank you so much for reaching out to me. I had so much fun, and this was amazing. It was such a fun read. Thank you so much. Okay, and that is it for my recent reads. I did not really read that much this month. Like I said, I've just been so busy, and I am gonna try my best to post consistently, but I'm gonna be honest, I have been having a lot going on. I'm not gonna go into depth about it, but other than the fact that I've started a new job, and I am taking like a lot of harder courses right now. I mean, harder for me. And you know, like also, like I said, I'm a mom, so it's not always the most easiest. but I thoroughly enjoy making these videos and posting them. Even if they're not perfect, like literally this background is not aesthetic. I'm in my work clothes, I look like crap, and this lighting is just haywire. Also, I just realized my glasses have been glaring on there this whole entire time, so I'm so sorry if it looks like, if you can just see my glare the whole time. But it's also kind of hard to like see, especially after a long work shift. My eyes are so blurry and my skin is freakishly greasy. But yeah, this is literally all I've been doing. I have not really been reading much, but I am so grateful and happy. I literally cannot get over the fact that an author reached out to me and asked if I wanted a free copy of their book. And also, it was signed. Like, how nice. This is so nice. I've never had a signed, this is my first signed copy ever. I've never had a signed copy, and I've never had an author send me a book. And it was just the coolest thing ever. And I honestly have to say that I am so grateful, and I thoroughly enjoy making these videos. I have so much fun just talking about books and posting it, even if it's not perfect. Like, this is not perfect. Like, this is not perfect. But just being able to talk about books, even if it's like the quickest, like fastest way. And I'm literally like half asleep right now. Like, I'm just so tired today. But I wanted to film something because I do miss talking about books and just how much it transports me to a whole new place, and being able to talk about all these things with you guys. So because of everything going on, it has been really busy, and other than, you know, like getting a new job and having school, I am in the process of having to move soon, which is just another thing. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have like a whole new setup. I keep looking up because I want to see like how the background looks, and if you see this like colorful thing, this is my daughter's desk, so that's probably why you kind of see like a lot of colorful things right here. But yeah, this is like pretty much just like a quick check-in about my recent reads, and like I said, it's not that much. It really is not. I am reading a really hefty book right now, so I've been reading it on my lunch breaks, and I was reading it before I started my new job, but it's a really big book. It's like 700 pages, and I'm not gonna go in depth about it because I'm gonna do a whole separate video for that. But yeah, so that's kind of taking me, that's what's kind of taking me so long. But other than the fact that I still enjoy reading, and it's the one thing that I feel like I want to just still have in my life like consistently, even with all these changes and everything, I just cannot get over how much I love reading and how much I love books, and especially how much I love just like making videos and editing them. I have so much fun, especially like the reading vlogs. So yeah, I'm sorry if lately my videos have been just kind of hectic. Like I said, there's just so much stuff going on. But hopefully like once I'm settled, things will be a little bit more easier and my videos can be a little bit more aesthetic, and I can have like a better setup. But yeah, since my homework was kind of downloading, I just wanted to do like a quick check-in and just kind of talk to the camera again and just talk about the books I've read, because I really do miss talking to you guys and talking about the books and everything. So yeah, and I just thought it was so cool because I read my very first classic. Like, that was so cool. I actually had so much fun. It was still really dense, and there were some parts of it I still would need some like getting used to because of like how the reading is, because I'm not used to a classic. But for a classic, it was actually really a lot more simple to read than I thought it was going to be. Like, I actually felt like I really enjoyed the entire book. I enjoyed like the characters, I enjoyed the theme of the book, I enjoyed like the setting, I loved like everything about it. And yeah, so I was like, now I understand why people like Pride and Prejudice so much, and now I'm excited to be able to watch the movie because I didn't want to watch it until I read the book, and I've read it. So, and then also it's really cool to know that my very first book from an author was sent to me, and I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that there was a lot of philosophical like faith pinpoints in here, and I had so much fun. I just found it to be such a cool epic fantasy, and then also just loved like the little sci-fi parts in it. And I just love books where I'm a really bubbly person and I'm like really happy a lot, but I do like books when there's like little eerie parts, because I don't know, I just find it to be so intriguing. Like, I have to keep reading it. I have to see what like more about it, because it's just so creepy or so eerie or so, you know, different, that I have to keep reading it. I think that's what also really hooked me into it. Also, the way that the like magic system and the monsters in this book, like the demons and stuff, the way that they were described and the world and what it did to the characters, I just found to be really, really cool. Because, I don't know, it was just so different. Like, I was like, wow, it's so cool to know that an author can think of these things with their brain and create a giant world. I just don't even know if I even have that brain power to create a crazy world like that. So props and everything to this author and every author out there actually that can create these like crazy worlds for us readers to read, because they devoted their time and energy and imagination to creating this for us. And I just found it to be so, I was really honored that they reached out to me and asked if I wanted this book, and they were so nice. And I think that's what another thing too, reading a book from an author that's genuinely really nice, it's like, it was so cool to know that the author personally messaged me and asked me if I wanted a book. And yeah, just like even supporting my channel and me being able to support their stuff, I had so much fun with this. And this is going to be a book I'm going to keep for sure, because it was my very first book sent to me by an author, my very first signed book. So again, thank you so much for reaching out to me and for asking me if I would like a free copy of your book, to sign it, and then also just supporting my channel. It means a lot. So thank you so much. And these are just like some of the like little things that just kind of just make me happy and just make me smile. And just this channel just makes me happy and makes me smile. Anyways, I'm not gonna go super sappy and in depth about it, but yeah, I had so much fun so far with this reading month. Or I guess past 2 reading months, regardless of how busy it is, I still want to keep some reading done, even if it's just like a chapter a day, just getting like some reading done anyways. And yeah, it's just a nice like mental cleanse when everything is crazy. So that's just kind of like what I've been up to lately. I haven't really been getting into much books, but overall I do enjoy a lot of the books I have been reading. So maybe it's just It Starts With Us was the only one that I wasn't crazy about, but other than that, I loved it. Literally everything else I've read, and I'm still happy I read it. I'm gonna end this video because I'm just talking forever. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for literally listening to me talk about this. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!